ready, then maybe not hands together yet. And if you knew it really, really, really solidly, I think like a day or two off probably wouldn't have completely decimated all your progress on it, you know?
So it probably wasn't that good.
Well, that's why I asked you to what extent you tested yourself on it, because you want to test yourself like every day, and you want to test yourself even with random sections too, not just in order. Like you can't create the most optimal condition to make the easiest way of trying to memorize it and then be content with just that. You have to do a little more than this, you know. So, but let's see how you did. Okay, let's see. We'll just go in order again. Okay, you want to play section 1 right hand? Note of next section so you know where you have to go next. Okay? Always do that so you have your hand position set up. Arushi, I can diagnose this with I'm not going to go through everything right now. I'm just going to go through the main things. We still have an overholding issue. Okay? It hasn't been fully taken care of yet. That's going to require a little bit slower and making sure you're assertive about the way you're releasing your fingers. Do you hear them when you play, or you didn't notice it?
I didn't.
You didn't notice it at all? Would you notice if it was slower?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you're going to need to do, okay? The other thing about this is ends of the slurs have to be rolled gradually, okay? Because otherwise, if they're not rolled gradually, then they're going to poke and make an accented sound. So you have to roll gradually and make sure the second note comes out lighter. Okay? So dun da 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 da. Not da da. Yeah, you always have to be really delicate on the second one. Okay? May I hear section 1 left hand? See, there it is again. You did da ba. Roll. That's right. You gotta count your rests, Arushi. Count out loud for me. And 1 we end a 2 we end a 1 and 2.
1 and I think.
You know what the rhythms are?
Yes.
Do you know what measure you enter your left hand on?
2.
So you have 1 and a quarter blank measures, right?
Oh, I should count the blank measure.
Yeah. I mean, pretend you're playing. Remind me, violin.
Viola.
Viola, right. Sorry, it's a safer guess to say violin than viola if I'm not positive. So you have to count rests a little bit then. Not much, but like a little bit maybe here and there. So just imagine you're an orchestra. You're not going to skip that, because then you're going to enter in the wrong place, right? So when you're practicing like a hand alone, you want to still concentrate on where your entrance is. Maybe you skip the pickup, but you go 1 and 2 and then you play, right? And then you have another blank measure in between too.
I don't think I can count it out loud while playing without the music in front of me.
We're just going to count 1 and 2 and together. Pretend it's a metronome. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. Nope. You got a full measure rest right there, right? Okay, so 1 and 2 last third one's long because it's a quarter note. Okay, so you gotta be thoughtful about your rests in this too, because that's part of this is viola cello basically, right? If you don't do it, you don't do this in your practice, I assume. Like when you practice viola, do you count your rests or do you just skip to the parts where you play? If you practice at all, that is.
I do. I don't think I count my rest when I'm practicing, but if I play with the rest of the orchestra, I know I should. I'm not saying that's okay.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you're not the only kid who does that, obviously. But yeah, that's important to do, I think. Okay, can we do section 2 with the right hand? Yeah, I'm not confident that's correct with the metronome. Are you confident it's correct with the metronome?
If I had a metronome.
If you had a because tell me about the entrances in that section.
There's a rest and
What kind of rest?
16th rest.
16th rest, right. So a lot of these are entering on the E of the beat, right? Yeah, so, sorry, tell me, did you have a metronome marking you used?
50, I think. It was slow,
I think you're playing a lot faster than that.
2, 1,
Da, da, da,
2,
da, da,
1,
da, da.
2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1.
No?
Oh,
That's also that's the incorrect entrance.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1.
That's pretty good. You just pushed a little bit too much, and we have that overholding issue again. Okay, it's not very clean sounding. But that entrance is a lot better. Can you do it without me?
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Okay, we'll take that. That's pretty good.
2, 1.
All right. How about that left hand for the section 2?
I might miscount the rest.
What's a scene? Oh, the rests.
Yeah.
Like not the first part, but after that. What kind of rests do you have in this section?
Quarter rests.
That's a hard one to mess up. Right? You just did 16th rests, where you have to enter on E. Now you just have to enter on the other beat. You can do it. Just keep counting in your head. Yeah, you just skipped a note. Yay. Well, now you added 7 notes that aren't there. You're only playing the 16ths for 2 measures. Rest. 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 Yeah, there you go. Yeah, okay, you got it on the third try. Just like the right hand, how we talked about the entrance of those 16ths to kind of give you energy on it. That's needed in your left hand. In fact, it's even more important because your left hand is doing that before your right hand does it. You know? So I want you to try to drop into the A flat and the G those first ones. Da 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 da, to give it a little more boost. Okay, you want to try that again? Yeah, you're suffering from a flat thumb on the side again. That's kind of messing your hand position up. You should be looking at both of these joints right here. This one and this one. You have it kind of, it almost collapses like that when you play. And it should be, like when you put pressure on it, it holds its position really well. Yeah, okay? Let's try. What's the problem there?
The last note is not supposed to be accented.
No, yeah, the entrance is. Rest. 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 Right. Oh, but you gotta rest between that. Yeah, that's on. What beat is that E flat on? Do you know?
End of 2.
The end of 2. Perfect. Okay. All right. Cool. Let's go on. Can you show me section 3 with the right hand? And what beat is that B flat, the last note on?
End of 2.
Yeah, you played it on 2 though.
Oh.
2 da 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 1 da da 2 da da 1 2. No, you just played on 2 again. Da 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 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 2 and 1. Yeah, that has to be the pickup, not a down feeling. Okay. The first part, C B C A C B C G A B A F. Da 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 dum. That was good because you separated nicely. Da 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 dum ba da da dum ba da da dum bum. But then you did da 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 dum ba da dum ba da bum. It's the same phrasing. Don't accent the fourth one. Accent the first one. Da 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 dum ba da dum ba da dum. That's right. But hold the F for how long? Dum, bum, bum. F. Yeah, how long is that note? That's a quarter note. 1 and 2. 1 and off. Right? So you have to hold that the right value too. Play the whole section again. Good. There should be a sound difference, I think. I'm not really talking much about dynamics right now, but in Haydn, this is a very good example of when he uses register to change the melody. And you know, we were talking about like instrumentation of this a lot and how it's like a trio. So you know, that takes a little creativity because it's like, oh, the violin's just playing higher. But if we're thinking orchestrally, we could think the first part, da 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 da, maybe violin, maybe that's like flutes or something. And so therefore we can create kind of a different dynamic for it. Which one do you think should be heavier, the first one or the second one?
First one.
Probably. So maybe you can do a little bit less on the second time. Da 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 dum. You can show a different tone there. You want to try it? I don't know if you
More, so the forte is more forte.
both or both.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, if you heard that, you'd be like, you know, yeah, I heard something there. But you wouldn't. It doesn't. If I didn't explain what to do just now, they wouldn't have had much change in sound. Wouldn't have much impact, I think.
I think I struggle with playing piano. Like
You struggle with
quietly.
playing piano.
Like I
Yeah.
think I could play loud, but not. I mean, I wasn't playing loud just then, but I think when I play quiet, either like no sound comes out or it doesn't sound like piano.
Right. Well, there's that's I think it's kind of okay. Let's use like weightlifting as an analogy here. If you want to see how heavy a weight you can lift successfully, you have to take it to that limit, right? If you just stick with the 5 or 10 pound, then you're doing it and you're like, man, I'm so bad at lifting the heavy ones, and then you never even try the heavy one. So like, okay, why is this my analogy? Because it's like you have to test your limit to see how soft you can actually play, and then in your practice, and then you have to try to play a little bit softer than that, you know, and see if you can keep control of it. And this is something that you just do in your practice for fun. You just, while you're working on things, you're like, well, let me see, can I even play that even softer than that? I got inspired. One of my former teachers, she would be able to play so incredibly soft, but it's like pristinely clean, like so much control, like that little bit of sound, and all the other students, like, we would watch her and be like, oh my, oof. And so that inspired me to try to like experiment with that. So I would, you know, I'd have some pieces that I would learn where I really try to play extremely soft just to see. And yeah, it would be the same as what you said. Like half the notes are ghosting, some of them stick out like thorns, and you know, but like over time and practice, you have to be willing to try out that heavier weight, basically. You know, see and just experiment with it at home. But yeah, anyway, let's keep going for now. But that's just something to try out for fun. You know, just test out where your limit is, and then see if you can get it a little bit beyond that limit after working on it. Can you do the same section with the left hand now?
I forgot if there's any slurs. I remember the notes, but not
Okay.
like.
Not the music. Do you know what beats your notes are playing on?
This is on the end of 2 of the last measure. And
So
this is
weak,
like
right? So weak beat.
weak.
Yeah. Okay, and then that one is
This
on.
is 2.
No, that's on 1. Because you
Yeah,
just
that's
played
what
on the end of 2, right? Yeah.
1 and 2 and
I'd love. No, that's right, but I'd love to hear it. There's no way to tell that based on how you played. And 1 and 2 and 1. Give the downbeats the slightest bit more weight. Maybe not that much, but that's the right idea. And I don't think there's a fault in the way you did the stronger ones. It's just maybe there's too much. You know what? We gotta imagine, I guess, what dynamic this is. This was the louder one, right? So maybe everything's, you know, including the upbeats, have to be taken up a notch. Yeah, like that E flat's a little weak in my opinion. Yeah, that's just too different. Yeah, pretend does your school have like speed bumps?
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, so I feel like I'm on a speed bump when you play the loud note. Try to make it a little bit more consistent. Sure. And then next part, contrast it. Good. Let's keep going. Section 4, right hand.
Did I go too far?
No. And then the first note of the next section would be.
Like, oops, sorry.
B flat with your thumb. Yep.
Yeah, I knew
Okay.
it was a sixth.
I feel like Arushi, as we get to this section, I feel your priorities have shifted from playing the music, as beautifully as you can, to just getting the right notes. Am I wrong in having that impression about this? Because it seems like that's where your attention was only focused on. It doesn't seem like you got to the other things in this section.
I was having a problem because I started making up my own fingering and I didn't realize it wasn't the same. So then I had to change it and
I
figure out
see.
the right notes.
Well, the fingering, there's only that one spot where you messed up, and then you were asking if you already went too far, but you just messed up the fingering. It was just a 1, 2, 3 tuck, But you fixed that the second time. I didn't notice. Maybe that soaked up your time. Is that what you're trying to say?
I think so.
You think so? Well, do you know where the slurring is for this, or do you know how to better use your technique to make this passage smoother, or anything like that?
I think the first 8 notes are slurred.
Okay, yeah.
And then the second 4.
So you know that, but when you played it, it was just kind of all slurred and overheld.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, that should be da 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 ba da 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 bum bum. No, you don't slur through the borrowing. Da 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 bum. Now, and you skipped a few notes there. Now this is. Do you know what kind of musical concept this is? Dum ba da 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 ba da 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 dum bum ba da 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 ba da 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 dum.
Motive. Motif?
Motif? No, not motif. That's not really your motive. Your motive is dum da 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 dum bum bum ba da 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 da. You have the same thing twice, exactly right after itself.
Except one's probably louder and the second one's softer.
Well, that's an idea of what people commonly do, but it's not the only thing you can do.
I don't know if there's a word, but it's just
There is a
calling
word.
it so. Then I don't know the word.
It's called repetition.
Oh, I knew that word, but I thought there was like a piano word.
That is a piano word. Well, it's not a piano word, it's a music word.
Music word. I knew the word repetition.
So I wonder if you do just because you're already soft there. That's kind of what I would usually do. That's the most common one, is to make the second one softer. I just don't know if it makes sense in this context because we've already done it, which essentially is a repetition. So doing repetition loud soft and then doing repetition loud soft, ooh, that's pretty creative, isn't it?
I think it sounded better when it was loud, soft, loud.
Loud, soft, yeah, so have to really be careful to make sure you're not just, you know, can you imagine if the magician came out to do a show and he did a card trick, and then he came back and he did a card trick, and then came back and he did another card trick? The audience would get pretty bored easily. So it's kind of the same thing here. We have to use different tools. So I would do more. And then finish that phrase. You understand that idea? Somebody probably does that very differently than this. That's okay. Just different ideas for things, you know. This part, you didn't have an idea of how to articulate that. You seemed conflicted, like you started something and then you did something else. Yeah.
It's not written as for
16th, you mean, right? What people usually do, if there's a grace note, they usually slur these two, and then play these two separate. So, yeah. Excuse me, the last three being separated. So that's one thing you can do, where you can go and just sort all four of them and then separate the last one. Yeah, so either one is okay.
I think.
But not to the E. To the D. No? Right. Either one is okay. There's no right or wrong, it's your preference.
I think I like the slur notes better because I have a problem with overholding those. So if I slur the notes, it's easier to like.
Arushi, whatever you think sounds best is what you should do, and then you're gonna practice hard to make it happen. Don't change a musical idea because of what you feel as your limits and your capability. What do you like the sound of more?
The slurs.
Okay, then do that. Are you just saying that now?
No, I think I like the sound. I like
Okay.
this.
Then do it. Okay? You'll practice if you want it the other way. It's not the biggest change in the world either, you know.
We're playing Haydn's Farewell Symphony in orchestra.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy it more than the sonata?
No, they're both like. I can use the knowledge from one to help me in the other.
Certainly. Is there any knowledge from there that's coming in handy here? Or is it more the other way around?
No, it's the other way around actually.
Yeah. Well, it's different because you have to follow what the ensemble does, you know? Like, you can't do a different articulation when nobody else in your section is doing it, or in the orchestra is doing it, right? But anyway, let's see if we can keep going here. Can you play the fourth section with the left hand also? Or is this where we're losing it?
No, hold on. I can do it. Can I look at? Can I look at the music and then give it back to you?
You start on an E flat chord in treble clef. Does that throw you a bone? Dum,
Oh,
bum,
I got
bum,
it.
bum. Oh Lord, you're not counting.
1 and 2. 1 and 2 and.
Yeah, so you don't seem to know what beats your chords are on. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. 2. I'll count for you. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Don't rush me. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. That's not the right chord.
Where's it?
You got E flat and G.
E flat and G.
Well, not that one. The lower G.
Oh, I thought it was.
And then
I
the same E
still-
flat. It's 5-1. The sixth. G on the bottom. E flat on the top. Yeah, but in the higher octave because you're in treble clef. And 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. Yeah, this is where you're done. Okay. All right. Yeah. So this is just not being built so well.
Oh, it's 2.
1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Just because it's short doesn't mean it's faster. 1 and 2 and 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 1 and 2 and.
Okay, I remember it.
You remember it. That's
Yes.
great. Okay, Arushi. What about 5? Did you get to 5 or not really?
Yes, I
You did?
remember the rest of it now.
You remember the rest of it now.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Let's hear 5 right hand. Yeah, it looks like you didn't really look at swearings. You just looked at notes. They're all separate in 4s. See? Okay. Show me left hand too. I think you're thinking about
The
section
other
3
section,
right now.
yes. Okay. I know I said the wrong thing.
Yeah, you're gonna want that 4th finger there. 4 and G. 4. That sets up your hand position beautifully. Now for the rest of it. So Arushi, it looks like you, and maybe tell me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you planned out an articulation for this other than just doing them separately. Was that by mistake or was that on purpose? Like you didn't just play,
No.
you started slurring some of them. That's
Yeah.
not what you did, but do you,
The
tell me
first
about that.
one-
Was that on purpose or by accident?
No, I thought like every time that like I thought the pickup note, like the end of the 2 was slurred to the first beat.
I'm not talking about right here though. He did stuff in every measure. Do you even notice that?
I thought I
don't
was
think
playing them all
remember.
separate.
No, you weren't. You were going. You did something like this. And that's a shame because it sounded good.
I think
But you don't even know what you did. So here, maybe you can formally, do something like that, which you're already doing. But I wouldn't play that many consecutive ones non legato like that. I would try to think of ways to make it a little more unique like
it
this.
sounded good.
Yeah.
I thought it sounded bad.
No, that sounded good. To me, it sounded good. So, but it's not good if you don't know what you even did, because that means you weren't in control of it.
Is there a video?
There is.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go back. You can hear the evidence on that. Okay, here's where we stand with this. I think this is ready for hands together, but the way that you got to do it, you're gonna need to do like section 1, right hand review, like 5 times or so, and then correctly 5 times. So that means going back and fixing the things that we talked about. And then doing it, because honestly, once you put hands together, these things we're talking about are not going to get fixed. They need to be fixed hands separately. Okay, like if you don't practice overholding with overholding, if you don't practice that with the right hand alone, it's not going to get better. I promise. Okay.
When I practice it slow, I can hear the overholding, but when
Yeah.
I go faster, it's still there, but I can't. I don't.
Was
It's
there
not,
an in-between area somewhere between those two?
no.
Okay, well it's somewhere in there then. You gotta increase it a little bit at a time gradually, okay? But take section 1, review the right hand alone, make sure you're fixing everything 5 times in a row correctly. Same with the left hand 5 times correctly. Then you should try hands together very slow. And that we want to be trying to get it 10 times correctly. Dum, ba, da, 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 dum, ba, dum, ba, ba, ba. 40. Okay? 40 on the metronome for now. Once it's really good and everything's in place at 40, then we can go a lot faster. But everything has to be done correctly. It's presto. We're not ready for that, obviously, It's going to take some time, but for now, 40s are speed.
1, 2,
With everything fixed and hands together, okay? And then you're going to repeat for sections 2, 3, 4 daily. Okay? And then Arushi, we're going to strive to get
Memory.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 6
You
through
said
13.
if I had up to here last time, that would be.
Yeah.
That would mean I was like well on track.
But is that all hands separate, fully memorized with good details and technique?
No.
Okay. So I'm not going to add more right now if we're already that far behind. Okay? Do you have a question about that part?
Yeah. So I play the E flat,
Mm-hmm.
and then the second half of the E flat, I play the B.
That's correct. They're on independent timelines. So, so if you're counting, it's 1, 2, 1, 2, like that. But you hold them simultaneously. It's no different than how you hold, where you're supposed to hold that A flat down while you switch from C to B flat. Okay? So what you did for what I won't say it in front of them, but what took a significant amount of time to get that much to that level, I'm going to ask you to do for this much in 1 week. okay? And you didn't write your practice notes again. Could you do that, please? All right. You got what to do here?
Yes.
Okay. Don't forget your other piece too, right? Yeah. You're awaiting results, right? Well, that too, but also your Mendelssohn, right? Because you're awaiting results.